Hey folks, welcome back. So today will be a short video about an interesting spot near Karlsruhe. I'm close to the Technical University of Karlsruhe in Germany, Campus North specifically. And I noticed there's an interesting spot here through a fellow YouTuber's video called Uranitit Prospector. He does amazing videos, really props to his work. I've really learned a lot from his stuff, but his videos are in German. So I'll try to make a video about the same place, but in English. I think also his video is like 2 years old, so maybe there's some updates on the situation here. So long story short, they do some nuclear research here at the university. They had a heavy water reactor in the past, which is not existing anymore as far as I understand. And there is I think something weird happened here between the 60s and the 80s. Could be that there's some contamination in a small stream behind the university. I just got the Radiacode here, and this is just for reference. Before I start my small mission, we are at around 0.045 microsieverts per hour and hovering around 2 to 4 counts per second. Slowly heading towards the spot that I noticed. And yeah, just to give some references, the whole story seems a bit sketchy. Like the authorities or also the university didn't really give out a lot of information. But apparently the amateur community is pretty good on this stuff here in Germany. I found some interesting articles on Geigerzählerforum.de. It's also a German-speaking site, but really cool people, really good work. And what we would deal with here is probably some Cs137 and some americium contamination, possibly even some plutonium. And yeah, they probably had a spill back between the 60s and the 80s, which apparently they don't really like to talk about. Yeah, also I think the cleanup effort was not really that serious, but we'll find out. Let's see if we still find something. I'm also curious to compare my video with Uranitit Prospector's video, which is about 2 years old now. So let's see if something changed at the location. So this is the spot from the video that I was talking about. Apparently I think I got something here. I was looking downstream a little bit on the riverbank. Levels were normal. Here there's a little bit of granite looking out. Apparently here they dug out the most contaminated part, but it's only like 1 square meter. And I went up from 0.05 microsieverts to 0.2. Hope you can see it through the plastic bag. Yeah. Also on the app, things look better now. So one thing I'm not really sure. I mean, the granite could do something. It's 0.2 around here. Sorry for the plastic bag, but it's rainy and I also don't want to contaminate the Radiacode. If I'm up here, let's see. This whole spot here seems to be hotter than the stuff around it. Yeah, here it goes down a little bit. And yeah, the whole thing is more overgrown than it was in the original video. Just try to show you a bit further away. Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. This is the channel that comes from the university. I'm not sure if they use this for the cooling system. It could be that the contamination came from there. So maybe I'll take a small soil sample here and do some spectroscopy later. So I'm still fooling around close to this granite, and a tiny bit upstream there seems to be another hot spot. This goes to 0.3 apparently. Yeah, here you can see it. And this also looks like somebody already took a sample from here. So I'll just take another sample here too. Okay, I'm heading back to the motorbike. I'm getting hungry and I have places to go. I got the sample in my backpack with the Radiacode right beside it. And the hardness isotope detector tells me Cs137. Interesting. There's not a lot of activity going on. It's just in my backpack with the Radiacode beside it, all in plastic bags. But there's pretty much something happened back there. Interesting. Even the spectrum shows me a very slight, come on, focus, Cs137 bump right about here. So I'm pretty sure we got us some radiocesium. Would be my first sample of that isotope, honestly. Yeah, I'll take it back home and do proper spectroscopy back there. I was very ill prepared. I didn't plan to come here, just coincidence brought me here actually. And I remembered about that story in the video. So yeah, I didn't even have a shovel. I just got some topsoil. Maybe it wasn't deep enough. So this is the last shot before I go home. I guess we are slightly above the value we had before, around 0.05, 06. Right now, counts per minute are a tiny bit higher too. But I have to do a proper gamma spectroscopy on this to see if we actually have something. So let's take it to the lab and see what we got here. So, well, here I'm back home, got everything on the workbench. I'm trying to do a proper spectrum from the samples that I collected. What is interesting is like the counts per second or the microsievert value is not really above background, very slightly. So it's actually difficult to tell if there's any radiation going on. However, on the spectrum, you can very clearly even now see a bump at the cesium line. They're kind of in the middle of the screen, the small bump, that's Cs137. You will also be able to see an americium line on the very bottom of the spectrum. I'll show some screenshots later on. Some additional information that I came across in the meantime. I didn't research this topic extremely well, but I spent some time on the internet looking for articles or papers, and what I found pretty fascinating or intriguing is that I couldn't really find a proper reason for the contamination. There was not really a paper that tells that's what happened, so that's where the contamination is from. However, I found a paper from the University of Hanover, which they also took samples there, and it's more going into the measurement techniques. But they come to a conclusion that most likely the contamination comes from those drainage pipes, or the one specifically that I was in front of. Another piece of information, it's not the cooling system, the drainage pipes that lead into the stream. It's basically just a drainage system to like drain the area from rainwater. And that's probably the reason for the contamination. It's the rainwater that hit the facilities. Also, it's probably not from the reactor, the contamination. They had some other sites on the location where they did like decommissioning or recycling of old like fuel rods from nuclear power plants. And their conclusion, which I kind of agree with, is that some stuff went up the chimneys there that shouldn't have during the decommissioning or the recycling processes, and got washed down by the rainwater and found its way into those drainage pipes that way. So I guess that's more the explanation of the whole thing. Here I'm just trying to name it. You kind of saw what I was doing with the Radiacode. I guess a lot of you are familiar with the Radiacode. It's a great device. I have model 103. It's not the newest one, but it's still fantastic. Here are some screenshots. This one, the green line is a background reading, so the other lines are above background. You can see the cesium bump at 640 pretty well, and also there below this, this is the cesium spectrum line thing helper from the Radiacode. And the next one, here I'll zoom in a little bit. This is the americium spectrum. So we can clearly identify those two isotopes, even in this very weak sample. Yeah, I think that's it for this video, more or less. Just some small updates on my own situation. It took me like 1.5 years to finish this video, so it's really not up to date. All the dates should be in the video when I filmed it and stuff like that. Here I'm just driving through the beautiful Black Forest area of Germany in Baden-Württemberg. It's close to Karlsruhe. Great area, really beautiful. Yeah, and also it took me a while to make YouTube videos. I was very busy with work and I moved and there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, so I didn't really have time for YouTube videos. Very sorry for that. Maybe I'll find some time to make some more again. Yeah, but this was a very interesting small trip. I think in general, this is a great spot for amateurs to test their equipment, to do a small excursion. One thing I also want to say, I don't want to talk bad about the university there in Karlsruhe. I mean, there were maybe some sketchy things going on there in the past, like with safety and contamination issues. In past decades, these processes were less strict than nowadays, I guess. But there's some really good people at the university. They do some very good work, so I don't want to talk bad about that specific institution. I'm sure there's great people and they do great work there. I am just an amateur. I didn't study any of this, like I stated in past videos. So take this with a grain of salt. All relevant links are in the description, as they should be. You can translate the papers. Most stuff is in German. I also put another article from a German amateur site, which it's more a bit sarcastical, but it's pretty funny if you translate it from the Open Geiger DE site about the whole topic. Yeah, it's an interesting topic to get into, especially if you're from the region or nearby. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I'll end this video now and hope you enjoyed watching it. And I hope to see you soon for new adventures. Have a great day. Bye bye.